Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and on behalf of me and everyone, happy draft eve, New York Jet fans. And like I said, we're streaming live simultaneously in three different places right now. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page, which is right now live, broadcasting over 17,000 New York Jet fans. So hey everybody, thanks for stopping by here late on a Wednesday night. We're also streaming live on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/boygreen25. And finally, on my Twitter account, twitter.com @boygreen25. And folks, this is cool. I've never done this before. It's something, quite frankly, I'm over the top excited about, and I hope all of you guys throughout this show can drop in your questions, topics. It doesn't just have to be Jets related; could be overall NFL draft, as I've seen a couple of those questions in here as well. And here's what we're doing: we're doing a 7-round New York Jets mock draft, a happy NFL Draft Eve gift to all of you, and we'll share some nuggets and information that we're hearing, and we're going to try to give you a war room feel on debating on picks between not only me, but my wonderful guest as well. Let's bring him in, a good buddy of mine. His name is Russell Brown. He's a national scout for Cover One. He's an NFL draft analyst for Woodward Sports. And let's bring him in the show, Russell Brown. What's up, Russell?
Paul, thanks for bringing me on. As always, it's great talking to you. I'm excited to talk with you Friday morning.
Yes.
As we do, as always, on the score 1260 out there in Syracuse. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do a little Jet stuff, and I'm excited to kind of get with your listeners here and take some NFL draft Q&A from them as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm already seeing the questions pouring in, which is a healthy reminder. Again, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter throughout this entire show. Guys, feel free to drop in your questions for Russell, any nuggets you'd like. And also, I'm looking for a little level of interactiveness. As we're going through this, I'm about to pull up the screen. We're going to be using tonight the Pro Football Network Mock Draft Simulator. And how it's going to work is me and Russell, will be picking for the New York Jets. And like I said, we're going to try to give you a war room feel. We're going to, whatever the mock draft simulator says, we will kind of work our way through. Trades are of course allowed, so we'll be offered random trades by the computer before we make our picks. We can evaluate those options as well. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's get this party started. So I'm going to share the screen right now. We're going to start right from the get-go. So let's go to a share screen here. We did this beforehand, so we'd be ready. So here we go. Guys, you're seeing it right here on StreamYard. Right here, like I said, is our Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. What we're going to be doing is selecting for the Jets. We're going to go 7 rounds, and we'll just have it at normal draft speed. And let's get this party started. Let's draft. All right, let's take a gander here right off the top. Wow.
Okay, well, they're already wrong.
That's funny. I will say this before we even get to anywhere here with these interesting picks, which, again, it's a simulation, so what have you. And, again, in case you guys missed it, I'll kind of zoom in here, and I'll try to be doing a little bit more of this so you guys can see. But we have Aiden Hutchinson. If I can scroll in the trade screen here. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is the first time doing this. Let me see if I can just work my way over. Either way, here we go. Well, the picks are Aiden Hutchinson, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, and Kyle Hamilton, 1, 2, 3. So how realistic is that? Probably not very. But I do want to start off right off the get-go, Russell. To be honest, it's a Jets-related nugget. The New York Jets right now are the betting favorite for Aiden Hutchinson. I'm going to be honest, which is so funny because we've been talking about this for months, okay? We've been talking about this for months of who the Jets are going to pick. Oh, maybe it'll be this guy. Maybe it'll be that guy. And out of all of it, all the hoopla, all the arguing, all the debating, and it looks like Aiden Hutchinson potentially could be there. Again, I'm not sure how I buy it. I don't know how Detroit, out of all of them, would pass on Hutchinson, the hometown kid. That doesn't make any sense. So, but that is the betting Vegas favorite right now. What do you make of that?
I mean, I think it's very, very possible.
Really?
My final mock draft dropped today.
Okay.
And my top 3 went Trayvon Walker at 1, Kayvon Thibodeau at 2, and Derek Stingley at 3. And I think there's a chance that Hutchinson is there, and I think it would be a smart fit. I mean, I compare him to Nick Bosa. I know some people say he's not one of the Bosas, and that's fine. But the way he plays is similar to how I feel about Nick Bosa when I scouted him back a few years ago. But it would be hard for Saleh to pass on him, but at the same time, like I could see Ike Ekwonu in this spot. I really could, just because of some of the stuff that's been coming out about Mekhi Becton there, and is he really going to come back to this team? Injury concerns, and then obviously, I mean, there's playing weight concerns, and he's missing a bunch of football. And like, if you take Ekwonu, you get a flexible, versatile type of player that can play probably either tackle spot, play guard for you. And I know guard's not the biggest issue anymore as you bring in Tomlinson and Elijah Vera Tucker, but if you put him in there at left tackle and you can maybe move back then for future assets, that's a win for this organization. You don't have to, like, how stressful is it and this is a question for the chat and for you, how stressful is it as a Jets fan having to worry about your left tackle, whether he's going to play or not, because either he's too heavy, he doesn't want to be there, or there's injury concerns. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. So I would go Ike Ekwonu if it was me, because I think there's a good chance that you could maybe land a Jermaine Johnson at 10, or maybe you move up a little bit and grab a Jermaine Johnson. Who knows?
Yeah, very interesting thoughts. And again, I think that is a question we'll throw out to the chat and see what they think. I saw this question right before we started. I thought it was interesting from JS. We'll throw it up on the screen here. CBW, non-Jets question. Which team will make you go, what the hell? First tomorrow with their pick. And I will say, Russell, you just mentioned kind of the top of your board here on your latest mock draft. Well, we're almost perfectly in line. We dropped for the radio show, of course, that, like I said, Russell joins every Friday and has for months. We dropped our mock in pieces. On Monday, we dropped our top 10, Tuesday, top 20, blah, 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 blah. And my top 10, I just woke up with some weird feeling that Derek Stingley is going to go number 3. It's before, now there seems to be a lot of buzz about it, but I just kind of threw it out there like, man, the Texans are weird, man. Maybe they'll do something weird. So I kind of threw that out there, and I got a lot of, you're an idiot. And now I'm not quite getting the same love, like, okay, you weren't that big of an idiot. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But to me, JS, to me, I think the Texans are the ones that are going to do something weird. Something like we all go, whoa. And I think that would be well, I mean, he's super talented, obviously. But to me, that's a well pick. Is that the same for you, Russell?
I agree. I would say that would be really surprising. I think some people would say, well, how could Detroit pass on a kid from Metro Detroit? I don't think it's not that surprising, because if we turn back the clocks a year ago to when we start the 2022 NFL draft, the consensus player was Kayvon Thibodeau. And I don't think there's a single Lions fan out there that would have been upset last April or May and said, oh, I'm upset that we're getting Kayvon Thibodeau next year. You'd be pretty ecstatic. And I think anybody out there would be. I think some of the stuff with him is very media overblown type stuff. And it's one of those things, Brad Holmes is a Pac-12 guy. 4 of his 7 picks last year came out of the Pac-12. I think it makes a lot of sense for Detroit to go that route. And, I think as we turn this maybe into a Jet question, it might be a little surprising if Aiden Hutchinson is not the pick at 4 and he ends up going to New York, but it's the New York Giants at 5. That's what I have happening, because like I said, I think the Jets take Ekwonu and then they end up with Jermaine Johnson at 10. That's what I think happens, but I've been wrong plenty of times before, so we'll see what happens. And if they end up with Aiden Hutchinson, it's a great fit. It's a great fit because he plays opposite of Carl Lawson. We would see what happens there. So, but yeah, the Stingley stuff would make me go, what in the world is going on?
And by the way, Aiden Hutchinson should be used to being carried by another pass rusher. He did it at Michigan with David Ajabo. So, hi-oh! I'm just kidding. Aiden Hutchinson's fine. But by the way, so I need to bring this up to you, Russell. You are our NFL draft analyst here on the show. So I need to ask you, I'm seeing it in the chat because, like I said, the reason why we're doing this, folks, is we are doing let me try to bring this back up on the screen here. We are doing, yes, here we go. So a lot of people have complained. They're saying that's the most unrealistic top 3 I've ever seen. So, Russell, are we allowed to do a mulligan here? Are we allowed to reset the board to try to make it more realistic? I'm seeing a lot of fans complaining that will throw off the entire draft if we play it out this way. What say you?
Yeah, no, we can totally restart it. I hate when it's unrealistic. I hate it. It drives me insane. Now, if it was to go, Trayvon and then Kayvon and then, or even Aiden, I guess that too, even though I believe Kayvon is the pick, I've already put $50 on it tonight. So it is what it is.
Wow. Okay.
But it's one of those things, like if Kyle Hamilton was to go 3 or a tackle was to go 3, I could live with that. But to have that order that we just saw, I don't know if I could live with that. It was when I saw when I saw it
Yeah.
come up, it was bothering me already. I was like, oh,
Okay,
please
so
restart it.
yeah, see, here's the thing. So again, again, we're a show of the people. The people asked for it. The only problem is, so I want to restart it too because I'm like, that's not great. But the problem is, I feel like this won't be the first time that we'll be threatened with a restart. But eventually, you just got to roll with it. But we are restarting. So again, for everybody who's just joining in, we're doing a 7-round New York Jets mock draft. Happy draft eve to all of you out there. And again, what we're trying to give you as a sense of an immersive experience of the draft war room. And again, that me and Russell, who have different opinions on different things, and we'll kind of debate some prospects. And then you guys throughout the entire show, feel free to kind of jump in. So again, 7 rounds, Jets. We're using the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. Let's go take 2. Click. All right, let's see here. Aiden Hudson. Okay, that's Malik Willis. Okay, now I will say this. While that may seem kind of crazy, and in case you guys can't see it, I see that it's kind of small, that we have Aiden Hudson going number 1. Possible, sure. Malik Willis, number 2. There's been some smoke around that. And for those who don't know, Russell is in the Detroit neck of the woods. So he's got some Lions ties there. He could talk about that. And Trayvon Walker, number 3. While that's, we could say what we want about whether the realistic nature of this, but that's a lot more realistic, I guess, than the first attempt.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't see Aiden being the top pick. I don't see Trayvon being there at 3. Now, I will say,
yeah,
I do believe that if it were to go at some point in this draft, which was speculated, about 24 to 48 hours ago, if it was Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau or an offensive tackle, and then Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson or something like that at 2,
yeah,
the Houston Texans would be taking Trayvon Walker. There was no way that they were going to let him pass them at 3. But the belief is from the Texans that it will go Trayvon Walker and then Kayvon Thibodeau, and then it will go Derek Stingley there at 3. And I see a lot of people in the chat on Facebook there saying, Lyman at 4 would be terrible. I'm wrong again. That's fine. You can believe whatever you want, but when your left tackle doesn't play this year, don't come crying to me and say, Russ, we need an offensive tackle. I'm trying to make it very clear that you're in a very prime position to get another talented edge rusher.
Okay.
And keep in mind, I'll mention something when we get to the 10th pick about something that could be in the card. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But
let's look at the trade offers here again. So the cool thing I really love actually about the Pro Football Network simulator is on every pick, if some other team is interested, they will give you automatic offers. So let's work our way through here. The first offer on the board is from Pittsburgh. And I will say right off the get-go, and for those who can't see it, I'll kind of give it to you straight. The Jets would give up the 4th overall pick. They would get the Steelers' 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 2nd and 3rd next year. And I will say this off the top, Russell, feel free to chime in here. To me, that's not enough. I want a future first if we're dropping all the way from 4 to 20. So immediately for me, I'm not for the Steelers offer. Are you in the same ballpark?
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Okay, let's look at the next one here. Seattle, you drop 5 spots, you pick up number 9 and a 2nd rounder. But still, I feel like you could get a little bit more meat off that bone potentially, even sliding that far.
I would agree there. If you're dropping 5 spots, I think you got to be getting an additional pick next year, and it's got to be a pretty top tier pick.
Okay, we're on the same page here. Let's look at trade offer number 3. And again, this is a ridiculous offer. So, again,
nope.
I mean, it's just almost an auto no for me. But again, people, just for those at home, the Chiefs have 2 late first-round picks back-to-back. Their 50th, which is a late second-round pick, and then 103 again. Garbaggio, no thank you. And then again, if we're dropping that far, even the 2 first-rounders are somewhat intriguing. I don't have the draft value chart in front of me, but none of these are good enough in my opinion. So sorry, no thank you on the trade. So let's look at the board here. And falling pretty interestingly. Again, that's good news for the Jets that a quarterback went higher. They believe they have their quarterback. 2 edge rushers, though. But we look at the board here. Here is the BPA, according to Pro Football Network. So you got Evan Neal, the offensive lineman. You obviously still have Icky on the board. You have KT, who is a Jet favorite. Sauce Gardner. And again, if you believe the recent reports coming out, for the New York Jets, that it's down to several players, including Ahmad Gardner, Ike Ekwonu, and some others. So some interesting players here still on the board. Do you have an immediate gut thought here on where the Jets go at 4?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Ekwonu, if I'm going to be honest. If he's there, if the Texans pass on him, I think he's the guy at 4. I could be wrong. It could be Evan Neal. It could be Sauce Gardner. I've always said Sauce Gardner would be a great fit with Robert Sala's defense, play that boundary corner role. Kayvon would be a nice fit for him around the combine. I had asked, where's the fit for Kayvon? Where's he going to go? I heard New York. I didn't get a specification of Giants or Jets. But again, I'm fairly confident Kayvon is the guy at 2. So realistically, I don't think he's going to be an option at 4. I think Aiden is the option potentially, but at the same time, I'm pretty set on the offensive tackle, and I think that this is a team that will get the trend going on the offensive tackles. They'll kind of get the pick of the litter, and then they'll maybe try to get a little active there at 10 and maybe move up and get a guy like a Jermaine Johnson, or if an Aiden Hutchinson falls a little bit, who's to say they don't trade up and grab him?
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to fight you hard on the Icky, like if you would have given me some other pick, but let's go right over here to the comment section. Guys who are watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, let me know right now. We have Russell here who is suggesting Icky. For me, it'd be Kayvon Thibodeau. But also I hear what Russell is saying. Again, the realistic nature. He believes that KT's going much higher. So if that's the case, then they won't even have him on the board. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm fighting for KT. Russell is fighting for Icky. Let us know in the comments. I'm seeing a couple here, combinations from a few people. We have RKO going. Let's see. RKO is going Icky. We've got Phenom with KT. Guys, come on. Let's hear the votes. Have them pour into the comments here. Icky or KT if you were on the clock at 4th overall. So send in those comments. And also, feel free to support the channel with a super chat, and it will cut the line here. Okay, so we got another KT pick. I'm seeing them pouring in on YouTube and everywhere else. Come on, people. Send them in KT. Nice. Let's go, Barbie. Let's go. Oh, Sauce. Okay, wait, whoa. The people, it's KT or Icky. Come on, people. Come on. Pick one or the other. Let's go. Tibbs. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Becton's a bust drafting OT. Okay, wow, we're getting all over the place here. So, all right, I'm getting a lot
coming in strong tonight.
We are, and I love that. I love the support. So I'm seeing a lot of KT here again. If the Icky crowd, we're going KT unless we get some more Icky here. Sauce.
I think you just. Yeah, I think you go KT. I mean, you're getting enough KT love on this.
Beautiful. I can't. Boom! I love hitting that pick. Yes. Beautiful. Charles Cross to the Giants makes sense. Evan Neal, certainly 6. Kyle Hamilton, 7. Jameson Williams, 8. Very likely. Ahmad Gardner, Seattle. I've heard a lot of Seattle people tell me they are sneaky corner or some level of a defensive playmaker. So Sauce makes a lot of sense. So, okay, now we're at the 10th overall pick. We got Kayvon Thibodeau at 4th overall. And, oh, my God, I don't even have to look at these trade offers. Ike Ekwonu is still on the board. Oh, my. So, Russell, I don't want to be rude and skip the trade offers and do the Dave Gettleman. I'm not picking up the phone here, but your boy, who we skipped on at 4th overall, is somehow still available. I mean, we got to go right to Icky, right?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't see him being there at 10. There's a chance, obviously. Rashawn Slater fell in the draft last year. Nobody thought he was going to fall to the Chargers. Crazier things have happened. So obviously there's an option, but I mean, we could look at some of the trades here.
Okay, sure. So, let's go off the top. We got Jets, Chargers. They'd give up their first and a bunch of future picks, a 2nd and 4th in 2023. Does that interest you at all?
I mean, it is intriguing, but no, not to drop 7 spots.
Okay, let's go to next. Texans. They slide up a couple of spots. It looks like they give you a nice 3rd. So drop from 10 to 13, pick up a 3rd.
I'll be honest. I think that's a pretty realistic trade.
Yeah, it seemed like it to me, quite frankly.
Of something that could actually happen, if I'm going to be honest. The Texans are looking to move up from what I've gathered from multiple people. And I think they're trying to do that in case an Evan Neal or a Charles Cross fall to 7, 8, or 9, something like that. They might try to move up, or even Carolina. If Carolina's blowing smoke that they're actually going to take a tackle, if they move back to 13 and can still land Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, that's a win for their organization, but also it'd be a win for the Texans, who would get their top defensive player, not named Trayvon Walker, and Derek Stingley, and then they would get their offensive tackle as well. So I think there's some things in the works there. Obviously, if they can't pull it off, they can't pull it off. But yeah, this is intriguing. The Jets, if they could land Ikem Ekwonu, that'd be awesome. Realistically, I see Ekwonu at 4 and Jermaine Johnson at 10. That's my personal thing.
What
But
about this
yeah,
last
I'm not.
trade offer? So what do you think about this one? Again, I'm going to be honest. I'm somewhat titillated because for the Bears, they have 2 second-round picks thanks to the Khalil Mack trade. So it'd be 2 seconds and a future second, so 3 seconds total and a third rounder. Is that good enough?
It is, but I mean, that is a huge
That's a
drop. I mean,
huge
you're
drop.
talking,
Yeah.
yeah, you're talking 29 spots. Yeah, you get 2 seconds
And
for
think
this
about
year,
it.
a
You have
second.
35, 38, 39, 48. I mean, like, whoa, mama. I mean, that's a lot of ammunition potential. I'm seeing a lot of no's to Chicago. Oh, wait. You take the Bears deal. I will leave this chat room. I love, I love the
Man, that's
passion.
a
Yeah, I see RKO in here again, falling out of the first round, is not a fan. So no to Chicago. Again, I
yeah.
get that. It is a steep drop. And to not get a first, even though you're getting 3 seconds, but to not get a future first, dropping down that level. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Icky or Wilson or trade to 13. The trade to 13 is not worth it. So if you were going here, do you have any thought at wide receiver? So as we're looking at the board here, the big board, Jermaine Johnson, to your point, is still here, but you went KT earlier, so that's probably not going to happen. Stingley still on the board, so you do have that. Ike Ekwonu, so offensive lineman could go here. You have Stingley, like I mentioned. Trevor Penning. I'm trying to go on offense here, see who else. Let's go to wide receiver. I think all the wide receivers outside of Jameson Williams are still on the board, so that's potential. What are you thinking here, Russ?
Well, I mean, I don't mind the idea of a wide receiver. Obviously, I think it'd be a great
Okay.
fit for them. I think with what they've kind of done with this 10th pick and in this draft cycle is look at a lot of wide receivers. So I could see that being very much in the cards for them.
Okay.
If we want to settle on Garrett Wilson, I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with taking Ike Ekwonu at 10. If he's again, if he is there, I think they would run to the podium.
Yeah.
And again, anything could happen, right? The Giants could trade out, the Panthers could trade out. We could see back-to-back quarterbacks there, and Ekwonu just kind of falls to 10. I mean, I guess there's a chance, but I realistically, off of what it's kind of looking like, I don't see that happening. But we can leave it up to the chat if you want. I'm kind of sold on Ekwonu or Wilson, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay, I'm going to just try to do a quick peek-see at the chat. Again, if you guys want to blast the chat with your final thoughts, I'm leaning Icky. While it does appear somewhat unrealistic, I guess anything can happen, A video of him smoking a bong could potentially come out tomorrow. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, he starts slipping and dipping down the I mean, anything could happen. So, by the way, if anyone has that video, and, I want Icky to go as far as he can for his own sake, but, if the Jets could get Icky at 10, I mean, got to do what you got to do. So,
yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing enough Icky here. So, okay, we're going to go Icky. Again, how realistic is this? I'm not sure. Now this board is going to skip to us all the way to the second round. The Jets have done their business. And again, if you walk out of the draft as we're just kind of sitting here with KT and Icky, I mean, that's an unbelievable haul. But to your point, and just to reiterate, Russell, for everyone, because we're getting people coming in and out of the chat that I'm seeing, from what you understand, it seems like KT is the pick for the Lions at 2 right now.
From what I've gathered, the Lions board is Trayvon Walker as their top player and Kayvon Thibodeau as their second player. That's what I've been able to figure out. We'll see. We put that out there on Woodward Sports today as well. So it's not like it's just me hyping it up on a YouTube chat or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a legit thing. So
yeah, okay.
We'll see what happens. I mean, again, they could change their mind tomorrow morning and go, we're going Malik. I don't know. I'm not in that room, but that's what I've gathered. And I published it in my final mock draft.
Okay, let's look at this. Now, this is interesting for this reason. Albert Breer shared in his report this week that the Jets are looking to add picks into the future. Now, when Jet fans saw this initially, they said, what a loser mentality. Why the heck would the Jets be trading out of 4 or 10 for future picks? That's stupid. However, what Connor Hughes added from The Athletic said, no, not first round back, but hopefully second round, and some team gets desperate. And in this particular case, this first trade we see here is Carolina offering a future first and a future third and throwing pick 137 which is kind of going to end up being a little bit of a swap because the Jets have 146 in here to move up to 35. Remember, the Panthers don't have a second round pick because they traded it for Sam Darnold. LOL, everybody. So, wow, this is a intriguing offer. Again, another massive drop back here. Again, they still have 38 in their back pocket, so maybe you have this kind of wiggle room. But man, getting a future first is pretty tasty.
It is. I like this deal a lot. I mean, like while we were waiting for this to get to the second round, I almost was going to say we should pause this thing and try to trade up. Maybe get back into the first round. But
okay.
But I kind of got on my tangent or whatever. But in this instance, I don't know what the next trade looks like, but that one. If I was sitting there, I would be taking that deal because I know I got a pick coming at 38. I get an additional first. That's a home run.
All right, let's go to this. I'm getting it Ragna Jet here on YouTube, and I appreciate that. He has been sending a lot of stuff to my Twitter DM, and we're live on a show, so I'm not scrolling through Twitter. Ragna Jet, I'll give you full credit here for this screenshot I just got in my Twitter DMs. This is from Tim Kawakami, who covers the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, here is what he said just minutes ago in terms of a Deebo Samuel trade. Quote, this likely wouldn't be announced, a potential Deebo Samuel trade, until or unless the 49ers have a deal and the player they want is still there, would be a trade on the clock for Deebo Samuel. He said, I'll put it this way. If I didn't think a Deebo trade was a live possibility, I wouldn't be heading to the 49ers headquarters tomorrow. Let me just tell you, I'm heading to the 49ers headquarters tomorrow. So again, take that what you will. What a bomb there by Ragna Jet. Thank you for sharing. And I'm a big fan of Tim. He's fantastic. And this is something both Mike Tannenbaum brought on my show and others, that if a trade was going to happen, it actually, while it seems surprising on the surface with all the moving parts, again, Deebo passing a physical, the trade compensation from Jets to 49ers accepting, like all of these different factors, plus whoever they would want at 10. From what Tannenbaum said, it is very possible. He compared it to the Mark Sanchez trade from 2009, and there's a lot of moving pieces. The Jets moved up from 17 to 5, and the Browns, who was the former Jets head coach Eric Mangini, who went to the Browns, there was 4 or 5 players involved, which is complicated when you have 4 or 5 players all have to pass their physicals plus the picks, that they put that complicated deal together to make it happen. It seems like, according to Tim, if a trade is going to happen, he's not guaranteeing it, but he seems to strongly hint that if a certain player is there, and I would have to imagine if the 49ers are giving up Deebo Samuel, that moving up to 10 would have to be for whatever wide receiver they covet. Garrett Wilson, James. Feel free to comment on that, by the way, Russell, if I'm just making a wrong assumption here, that whoever player they could be talking about to pull the trigger and say, okay, our guy's there, we're willing to make the trade now. If that player wasn't there, maybe not. I'm assuming for wide receiver, is that a safe assumption?
I mean, it could happen.
Man. This is Wonderland of, and I get that. This is crazy town, but this is the craziest offseason of all time.
It's true. And I mean, I was asked on a radio spot earlier this week about could we see some live trades of players being involved? And I'm like, that doesn't happen in the NFL during the draft. And I don't see it happening. But at the same time, like, if there's been a lot of smoke around the Jets and the Niners and Deebo Samuel, and the Jets, we know, looked into Tyreek Hill quite a bit. They've been doing a lot of research on wide receivers. I had heard at one point, as I mentioned on your show on a Friday morning, that Jameson Williams could be a very interesting option for them at 4, depending on how the board falls.
Dan Orlovsky today on NFL Live kept beating the train for wide receiver at 4. So again, if that happens, I'm not going to be slapping Orlovsky on the tush. It's going to be some Russell Brown slapping on the tush for saying that a couple of weeks ago. Just to throw that out.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on here, but I mean, I could see it. I'm really curious what that deal would look like. I mean, does it involve Elijah Moore? Does it involve how much future draft capital? I don't know, so we'll see what happens on that front. But back to this trade offer. I don't know what the other trade offer is.
Yeah, let's look at the other one. Yeah, Miami. Gross. So, and a bunch of future picks, which again, I don't know how that would be nice to get a second next year and 2 additional thirds next year, and then get 102. So it's a huge pick jump for the Jets in this draft. But the other thing, before we even talk about taking one or the other, when we look at BPA on the board, there are two players that stand out to me immediately. Daxton Hill, who, again, I think he could go in the first round. So the fact that he's here is unbelievable. And Tyler Linderbaum, your center of the future, who I very much could see slipping. And even though some of these offers are tantalizing, like Panthers first rounder could be incredibly high, I'm leaning, as I'm seeing on the chat, that Linderbaum could be there, or Daxton Hill. What say you, Russell?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think Linderbaum could be there. I don't see Daxton Hill being available. I think he's probably going to go in the first round. That's why I'm kind of open to the idea of taking the Panthers trade, because I think it's a great trade. If that was an actual offer, I would jump at that. Simply because you're getting a future first, a future third. You're still, I mean, you're essentially moving up from 146 to 137.
Right.
And I think that's a win for you. We know the Panthers aren't winning the Super Bowl next year. We can just go ahead and say it's not like you're going from 35 to 32 in a year.
Yeah.
So I like this thought, especially if there is that Deebo Samuel type smoke, if you end up doing something like giving up 10,
right,
and a future second next year, and maybe a player or something. If you can get this deal, I mean, it's almost like it's a wash of a trade for you. So I would take this deal.
Okay,
if it was me, I would take it.
Okay, Howie Mandel style, deal or no deal. Deal. Okay, Panthers, we're moving on back. And folks, you get
up for a running back.
And you know what? Forget the trades. And Troy Anderson, what a pick there, going at 36. So he's an athletic freak. I got to say, in both of our targets that were still there, in my mind, and Daxton and Tyler Linderbaum are still on the board. I think we got to go with one of those two. Again, I could go either way. I think both are terrific talents. I'd be thrilled with both.
Yeah, I would take Linderbaum. I mean, because realistically, if we stayed at 35, that would have been the guy that I would have said, because if he did slip, I could see him getting to 35. And I do know that around the combine, there was a lot of chatter of him having great interviews all around, like across the board, but especially with both teams in New York and the Giants and the Jets. So I could see that being a fit.
Okay, boom. Chad, I saw enough of it earlier. We just got Linderbaum at 38. What a steal. Boye Mafe, one of my favorite players in the draft at 39. Desmond Ridder to Seattle. Ooh, back-to-back Desmond Ridder, Christian Watson. What a nice pairing there. That's very nice as we're seeing this kind of take its course. Some other players here of interest. Let me see. Sean Ryan, he's been, Drake Jackson, getting some first-round buzz I saw from Adam Schefter late tonight. Very interesting. Very interesting. Kobe Bryant, what a great name. Quay Walker could be a first rounder too. Wow. There's a lot of talent here. Okay. So let's see what's on the board. So BPA, how the hell is Breece Hall still on the board here in the third round? I mean, that is Trey McBride, Chad Muma. Good Lord have mercy. I mean, what a we have one trade offer, by the way. It's dropping back. Yeah, that seems like a garbage trade. I'm going to be blunt. Yeah, sorry. Let me reject Buffalo. Go find your own picks, pal. Okay, wow. Again, I don't know how the hell is Breece. I can't get past it. How the hell is Breece Hall on the board? Chad Muma is interesting, and I did mention this earlier that obviously the Jets invested at C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Conklin. I said the only tight end I would be willing to take at 69 if he was there, which seems unrealistic, is Trey McBride, and of course he's there. Wow, those are the three right off the top, and of course are the three best players on the board. I mean, all of those are pretty tantalizing. We have not drafted a wide receiver yet, RKO, so we have not. We have KT, Icky, and then Tyler Linderbaum because of the trade. So we do not have a wide receiver yet. So wide receiver could make sense because who's still on the board? Let me look at wide receiver just to give it a gander. John Mechie, who I like. Sky Moore, wow, he's still on the board. That's interesting. So okay, what are some thoughts here, Russell? You could go wide receiver. I'm seeing some fans talking about that in the chat. That's very interesting. Overall, players obviously like Breece Hall is an unbelievable value. Chad Muma seems good. They're pretty good at tight end, even though the McBride value is somewhat intriguing here. So,
yeah, I mean, like Chad Muma was really intriguing. I mean, I could see realistically him potentially being there at 69, just because of a run of receivers and maybe a couple of corners and running backs or something like that. I don't see any way Breece Hall's there at 69. I'd be stunned if that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I didn't think Michael Carter was going to go in the fourth round last year.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to Muma, but at the same time, I mean, the wide receivers are kind of getting thin there, and realistically, seeing Sky Moore there, I'm not as high on him as everybody else. And
Interesting. No. Okay.
if he is there, I think he'd be a fine fit in that scheme with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. And I think that's kind of a nice trio for them. I also like Jalen Tolbert a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people that compare him to Marvin Jones. He's kind of got that vertical tracking ability, can run deep down the field. He plays, former baseball player, he plays the wide receiver position vertically like a former outfielder. I mean, he brings down everything. So I'm not opposed to Muma, Tolbert, or even Sky Moore, even though I think Sky Moore probably is a little bit unrealistic, I guess, at 69. A little too far down the board. But if he's there, he might be intriguing enough. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you have another position in mind, but I do like receiver linebacker here, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely between. I'm seeing Muma lighting up, the board here, no question. And of course, the Jets, who don't know, coached the Senior Bowl this year for the first time since 1979. So Senior Bowl connections make a lot of sense throughout the entire class. So again, Muma makes sense, and he's been a popular mock draft pick here at 69. So I would completely understand that. The other thing is wide receivers. So obviously in this scenario, we did not make some magical trade for Deebo Samuel. So wide receiver is still a huge need, and Sky Moore would be interesting. Boy. Oh, God. RKO. Come on, man. Trading Mekhi Becton for 72. Gross. Nah, come on, man. I got to think his value, to be perfectly honest with you, if they were to trade him, and maybe I'm surprised because Joe Douglas has gotten more out of trades than anyone could possibly imagine. I would imagine his value right now is about a conditional 2. That's just kind of my take on it. Again, there's been flashes, but there's also been the extra stuff. And any team that would trade for Mekhi Becton would immediately go, why are they getting rid of him? He's Hall of Fame traits and all this other stuff. So no on that one, RKO. I appreciate the swagger there. So to me, it's either Chad Muma or Sky Moore. It's one or the other. So, after me kind of strong arming you on several picks so far, I will let you be responsible for this. Chad Muma or Sky Moore, who do you have?
Yeah, I like Chad Muma. I think it's a great fit. You put him right in the middle of this defense. I think he can probably start for you right away. And you mentioned Senior Bowl, right? Like that's a perfect connection right there to connect the dots. So I like that fit a lot.
Yeah, my heart breaks. I just saw Tyler Algier, my man crush, go off the board. That's unfortunate. Really good player. Also, I saw Melvin Gordon return to Denver, and he's a guy I really liked as well. Greg Dulcich, he's another good sleeper I like. Wow. Trey McBride, boom, what a value. 96. How did he go? 96. Unbelievable. Oh, Cameron Jurgens, another center, baby. We got ours, but just saying. Yeah, got to throw him.
This simulator's on like crack or something.
Yeah, it is. There's no question about it. This is terrible. I'm going to be honest. Okay, wow. Now this is relatively interesting. To just drop 15 spots, you'd pick up a variety of picks throughout this draft with the Las Vegas Raiders potential. One trade on the board here, 111 for 126, 164, and 227. Again, at a certain point, you have to weigh quality versus quantity in some of these cases, especially since this is all in this year. And again, only so many rookies can make the roster. Yeah. But any interest at all in this?
I mean, if it was like middle of February, I'd probably take this just because it would be fun to do. But realistically, I don't see this type of offer being had. And I am in the mindset that a lot of teams are going to take 5th and 6th round picks this year, or even 7th round picks, and try to move them next year to get 4th or 5th rounders, because I think the meat and potatoes of this draft is in the 2nd and 3rd round. You'll find some value in the 4th and 5th round, and then I just think there's a drop off. So I think there would be, some smart moves from teams to kind of play their cards and make some moves. But being that there's maybe a wide receiver here, I think it's probably time we pull that trigger.
I think so before it gets too late. One guy that jumps right off the board for me as I'm looking through here, and I'll give you guys some of the top names, but I'll give you 2 that stand out to me. Khalil Shakir, wide receiver, Boise State. Again, another one. The Jets coached her down at the Senior Bowl. Miles Austin had a great relationship there as well. The other one is Tyquan Thornton, who lit the NFL Combine on fire with like the 4.22 or whatever crazy number he had. And RKO, you do mention it. James Cook is still there, who I love a lot. But again, we can't ignore wide receiver any longer. They're only going to get worse from here. So, not to go too crazy, and again, strong arm Russell here. I think you got to go wide receiver because it's only going to get worse from here. And the two guys that really popped to me, I don't know if any other ones pop out to you here that are in the top 5, 6 that are on the board here. I know Wan'Dale Robinson is another one people like, but to me, it's between Khalil Shakir and Tyquan Thornton potentially.
Yeah, I would go Khalil Shakir. I would probably double down here. They go again at 117.
Correct.
So
right.
I would go Shakir and see if Robinson or Thornton are there. And if you take a chance on Thornton, I mean, I'm not opposed to that at all. Shakir could very well be like a Monra St. Brown as far as that slot receiver type guy. Maybe not as physical as him or as strong as him. Drops are certainly a concern. He had 18 career drops in his career. And I think 9 this past season, but he's a veteran route runner, man. He's pretty solid. I like this fit a lot. If he's there at 111, I think they would strongly consider him.
Yep, and we're doing it. Khalil Shakir is the guy, wide receiver at Boise State. They come right back around. We miss a couple of players here, which are super fascinating, by the way. Damon Clark, very interesting player. Unfortunately, spinal fusion surgery. He's going to miss his entire rookie season, but still ends up going here. What round? 4th round, I believe we're in right now. So, wow. Still very nice there. So, okay, Tyquan Thornton still on the board. Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm going to butcher this one. I've seen a few people bring him up. Izukama, out of Texas Tech. He's another one that's kind of – and Rambo, obviously, out of Miami. Who do you like here? I like the double dip strategy. Not a bad strategy, potentially. And let me just go overall to make sure there's no clear and obvious that we're missing here. No, I mean, James Cook is still there, which could tantalize Jet fans who are looking for that other running back to pair with Michael Carter. So James Cook, potentially, if you don't go wide receiver. So Cook or wide receiver, probably, I would imagine. And they've ignored safety. That's probably another one we should just take a quick peek at. Smoke Monday. That's got to be one of the greatest names I've ever heard. I heard him getting some love earlier this week. I mean, that's the greatest name of all time. So I got to throw that out there. Safety. So who you thinking? So James Cook. We got a variety of wide receivers potentially could go with Smoke. If you want to get a safety, what are you thinking here, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even opposed to. I know I said double down on receiver. I'm not opposed to Brian Robinson either.
I love Brian Robinson.
I think he'd be a great fit in this scheme, and his lateral cuts. I mean, he's kind of surgical at times with his cutting ability. He's physical, good size, 225. He moves well. He can block. I think I didn't realize he was there.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty intrigued by him.
You know what? Russell Brown is a goddamn draft expert here on the show. So you know what? Booyah. Let's go Brian Robinson, who's a guy I really like a lot. And that compliment, what a nice fourth round in back-to-back years. Jets get Michael Carter and Brian Robinson Jr. Very nice.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be nice. Let's see. James Cook goes off.
Jesse Lokito went. That sucks.
Yeah, he would have been nice. Jelani Woods is another one I really like a lot. Tyquan Thornton to the Packers. I've heard a lot about that fit, actually. That would be interesting. Okay. All right, so we're back on the board here at 137. This was a bonus pick we got via trade from the Carolina Panthers. So this is a bonus one we're getting here. So let's kind of look overall at the board. Let's see. I can't believe Dameon Pierce is still here. That's an unbelievable. I thought he would have went much higher, but hey, different strokes, different folks. Bailey Zappi, if you're trying to add some quarterback competition to Joe Flacco, Mike White, Zach Wilson, I don't know if that's quite the direction to go here, but let's look at a couple others. Obviously, safety is still a need. I don't know if you like anyone on the board here. We got Sterling, Weatherford, Smoke Monday, Quentin Lake, Bubba Bolden. That's another great name. So safety obviously could make sense. Could go back on the edge, defensive tackle. We got our running back, offensive tackle. If you wanted to dip there again, we did get Icky earlier, though. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different directions to go here now that we're getting to this point.
What have we ultimately selected so far? If you click that,
that is a
logo,
great point.
right?
There's got to be that option here somewhere. So let me just
if you click the Jets logo at 137, it'll pull up.
Oh, great. See, that's why you're the expert on the show. You know what? We should switch seats. You host. I'm just going to get over Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so let's recap the board here. So we got, for everyone who's just joining us, by the way, another quick reminder again, I am Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. With me is Russell Brown. He's a national scout for Cover One and NFL draft analyst for Woodward Sports. Make sure you check him out. He'll be doing stuff locally in Detroit, hosting a nice little party and doing some great stuff with the Woodward Sports. We're here doing a live 7-round New York Jets mock draft, so we are recapping it. I see that, Kev Chata, and a great suggestion there by Russell, who is intimately familiar with the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. We will be doing that right now. Again, guys, make sure you like the video here on YouTube and hit subscribe. Even if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, open up a gosh darn new tab and show some friggin' support, because we're going to have some great draft coverage here, just like we're having right now with Russell on the show. So, guys, here it is. And again, I know it's somewhat hard to see, so I'll try to scroll in a little bit here so you guys can, yeah, there you go. It's a little bit clearer. So we've gotten Kayvon Thibodeau, 4th overall, Ike Ekwonu, which, again, seems somewhat unrealistic, but hey, anything can happen. Tyler Linderbaum at 38, the center. We traded 35 for a future first from Carolina and some other pick combinations here. We got Chad Muma, linebacker, 69 out of Wyoming. Khalil Shakir, wide receiver, Boise State. Remember the Jets connection there down at the Senior Bowl. Brian Robinson Jr. As well. And right now, again, we're at 137. So with all of those needs being considered, where should we go here? Again, some other needs, obviously, that are on the board here for the New York Jets. Safety, corner potentially, even tight end. There was a lot of smoke that the Jets could still add a young tight end on day 3 of this draft, which obviously we are firmly in right now, as we're only a handful of picks left here before we wrap this up. So, there's a lot of different directions to go here, potentially, Russell.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you mentioned tight end. I see Charlie Kohler sitting there, Senior Bowl kid. I like him quite a bit. I think he's kind of like a Kyle Rudolph light type of player.
Wow.
Really big frame, big catch radius, smart kid. There's an interview with him and Eric Turner over at Cover One where they break down film together. Really smart kid. I mean, I think he's already got like 3 degrees or something like that. It's something wild like that. Wow. So super smart guy. He would be a good fit in that tight end room. I saw him. He's pretty intriguing, but okay. I'm in agreement with you as far as maybe grabbing a safety. I mean, I don't know.
Here on the board. Yeah, here's who we got. Again, I'll run through the couple guys here in case some of you guys can't read this because it's too small. And I apologize for that. The top 5 guys on the board, and they have varying values according to PFN's numbers. And by the way, any mock draft has their own kind of numbers and big board kind of slapped into it. Sterling Weatherford, Smoke Monday, Marquise Bell, Colby Harvell Peel, Quentin Lake, Bubba Bolden, and Scott Nelson. That's like the top 6 safeties currently on the board right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider Smoke Monday.
Okay.
But, I mean, even he's sitting there at 158. I might try to risk it and say we get him with the last pick. Okay. And if we were able to grab Charlie Kohler, I think that would be huge.
Let's do that. So we're going to go Kolar, and let's cross our fingers as we're looking here at the mock. Let's just hope he lasts. So Bailey Zappi, the future replacement apparently for Aaron Rodgers. I like that. Okay. Very nice here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We're good right now. We're doing fine. John Ridgway was a Matt Ariza. I've heard a lot about him, the punter. Everyone keeps we've got one fan on my channel that brings up Ariza every time I do a channel saying, hey, sneaky guy. Oh, Smoke Monday just got blocked by 1 pick. Come on, man. See, this is what happens. Now, normally, for me, this is a fantasy draft thing where I'm like, oh, man, I got my guy. I'm hovering over it, and I'm like, blast. And then I got to do it. So Smoke Monday, it sniped us, the Eagles. Damn Eagles. Where's the Joe Douglas hook a brother up, man? Come on. So, oh, boy. All right, let's look at the remnants, what's on the board here. Oh, Chris Paul would be good in the NBA draft. Not so sure in the NFL draft. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to safety.
I will say Matt Henningsen there from Wisconsin. That's super intriguing. But I mean, we've already kind of. Yeah, he's really intriguing. We're very versatile. Not a sexy player by any means, but he just gets after it. Good football player. I mean, that's just what he is.
Yeah,
and this John guy in the chat keeps saying Yusuf Corker. I don't think he's available, John. Sorry.
I would imagine not. I have the search thing here, so okay. What saying we're looking for? So Yusef Corker?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not coming up. So I'm imagining that he went a long time ago. So sorry about that, John. I like that. So, and we did not take Monday. So I guess hell no to Smoke Monday. Thank God we didn't take Monday. So I like the consistency there from John at the very least. Okay. Again, to your point on the Matt Henningsen potential pick, again, we need defensive tackle, interior defensive line. The Jets have made that quite clear. So that's obviously a position of need. Safety, corner, but it doesn't. I'm not sure if you love anyone who's here on the board. That's obviously, you don't want to force things at this point. Sometimes you want to maybe risk it to get the biscuit. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anyone. Yeah, Joby.
Josh Williams is intriguing. Marcus Jones is intriguing.
Okay.
Marcus Jones is kind of like that super aggressive, more of a nickel. Might be able to play as an overhang type of safety, maybe as a buzz defender at times. But a punt returner, kick returner, was supposed to be at the Senior Bowl, wasn't healthy. And Josh Williams was somebody that is caught my eye a little bit down at the Senior Bowl. He did a really good job playing through the catch point and stuff like that. Cordell Volson talked dirty to me. That guy's a plug and play right guard. I mean, that guy, John's going down the right path there. Out of North Dakota State, Cordell Volson was a walking double-double in high school. His senior year, he had 35, I want to say 35 double-doubles and 33 blocks. I might have had that mixed up.
Yeah.
Either way, he had 100 knockdowns in 2019. Obviously kind of forgotten about due to the COVID year. But he was a part of that team that had Trey Lance, Dylan Ray Dunes, and Christian Watson, and everybody talks about those guys. But Cordell Volson just is a mauling future guard in the NFL. So
would you take him?
I would consider him, but I know with how this team is already kind of built.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, is it realistic? Maybe if we went another direction on a couple different picks, but
yeah. So Henningsen,
I'm okay with it. I think it's a great pick. I think he's a good football player, and I think this is a perfect range for him.
Okay, beautiful. So we got Henningsen in there. Pierre Strong, by the way, a nice running back out of South Dakota State. The Jets have done a lot of work on this offseason. They've done a lot of work on a lot of these running backs. And the only reason I'm waiting here is we did a few trades. So I want to make sure in some of those trades we didn't get any other picks, because for those who don't know, entering this draft and any draft right now, the Jets have 9 picks overall. They have multiple picks in every round except the third. They only have the 69th pick right now in the third, but obviously a variety of trades potentially could change that dynamic. So they have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 1 third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths. But for those, we will recap this draft for you guys here in just a second. But the 35th overall pick was dealt away to the Carolina Panthers, and I would label a blockbuster trade where the New York Jets were able to pick up a future first. Again, remember, the Panthers don't have a second-round pick because they traded it for Sam Darnold. Okay, it looks like we're going to be done here for the overall mock draft. I'll let the simulation continue to play to make sure that we didn't pick up a late 7th here from Carolina as we're wrapping up here. Guys, I got to say, first off, as this is kind of running its course here before we finish, again, this was so cool. I have never done one of these before. You guys were incredibly amazing here in the chat. And obviously, we wouldn't have been able to do any of this without apparently the expertise on the Pro Football Network Mock Draft Simulator from Russell, which that wasn't really the thing I thought he was coming to bring his insight on. But you know what? He is versatile. And obviously, worth a follow on Twitter at Russ NFL Draft. You see it on the little bingo card there beneath his name. Boom. There you go. So that's the official 7-round mock draft. Let's run through it in its entirety here for the full results. We'll go from the top, and it will recap the trade that we had earlier. So, okay, guys, all in all, here is what the Jets walked away with. They had Kayvon Thibodeau, 4th overall. Ike Ekwonu, 10th overall. The offensive tackle at NC State, I'll say positions for everybody. Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher out of Oregon. 35 overall was traded in a package. Here are the picks they got. They got 2023 first from Carolina, 2023 third, and an extra pick, 137. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so they got that. That's how we got rid of 35. 38, Tyler Linderbaum. Again, very realistic. He could drop. Chad Muma, linebacker out of Wyoming. Again, a very popular mock draft pick to the Jets at 69. Khalil Shakir, a wide receiver they worked with down at the Senior Bowl, 111 out of Boise State. A Russell Brown favorite, Brian Robinson Jr., the running back out of Alabama, to bring a little juice to pair up with Michael Carter. And the final two picks, Charlie Kolar, tight end of Iowa State, and Matt Henningsen, the defensive tackle out of Wisconsin, on top of the full picks. So that is the draft, everybody. Wow, that was terrific. And I got to say, like I said earlier, Russell, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is so cool. And I know you got a lot going on draft week, and rightfully so. This is probably one of your busiest draft weeks you've ever had with your draft guide and your new gig at Woodward Sports. So I want to say just thank you, of course, for taking all the time, man.
No, yeah, thanks for having me. It's always fun being able to talk football with everybody. It's always just great getting questions, interactions, being able to break down these players. It's a bunch of fun. I'm excited for tomorrow. I am tired, but I'm probably not going to sleep much tonight, and that's fine. I probably won't sleep much tomorrow. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm just super pumped, and I can't wait to talk with you on Friday and break down what the Jets did on the opening night.
No question about it. And similar, a lot of people said, "Hey, Paul, can you come on my show? Can you come on my show?" And I've just said to myself, well, I guess sleep draft only comes once a year. So I've got a bunch of stuff, interviews before the draft's happening after the draft. So we've got a lot of going on for both of us. But nonetheless, I have to say, thank you so much, man, for joining us. This was a ton of fun. I will, of course, see you on Friday. Enjoy the draft, my friend. Happy NFL Draft Eve. And we'll see you on Friday. If you guys love Russell, first off, follow him on Twitter at Russ NFL Draft. And also, you can make sure you check him out every Friday on the Man Shot Show with me, Boy Green, joining us to talk NFL Draft at 10:30 every Friday. And he will, of course, recap night number one on the draft on Friday morning. And then next week, we'll recap the whole thing before we send Russ on his way to his vacation and R&R and enjoy some rest so he could get ready, of course, for the 2023 NFL Draft. Russell, again, you're a gem. You're a superstar as far as I'm concerned. And, brother, it's always a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy, everybody. Go Jets. Hopefully they don't bomb the draft for you. Like I said, I see Aquanu at 4, Johnson at 10. We'll see what happens.
Okay, and there you go. And it looks like Russell and his Lions are going to still keep on Thibodeau. So great. Phenomenal. So we won't get him anyway. Hope you guys enjoy him. Seems like a superstar, and hope it works out. But all right. Thanks a lot, Russell. This was fun, man. See you later.
See you.